What is up, everyone? It is Hunter here, back with another video, and I just got out of my second set of medical school exams. So I'm headed home right now, feeling pretty exhausted, so I'm gonna take the dogs for a walk and then just kind of relax for a little bit. But today I think I'm going to, or at least this week, I'm going to give you my top tips after completing my first month of medical school. And more just realizations than tips. All right, so we've made it home and I've got my exam scores, at least preliminary scores, and post-exam thoughts. So the anatomy test is what I went with first. I knew I was gonna be confident with it, so I was just like, let's get through it, have some momentum going into the rest of the exam. So did that one, made a dumb mistake, got one wrong. So I got a 95 on that test. Then I went to the, I think I did the clinical medicine part next, which I'm sorry, Dr. Crosby, if you're for some reason watching this, I didn't study for it whatsoever. This test had 11 questions on it, and he asked some really specific stuff. So I got 2 wrong, which is an 82, kind of a bummer, but I know I can make it up later in the course. So then I went to the MCT section, the biochem, histology, and I was very worried about this section of the test. I finished the content review for this exam, for that part of the exam this morning before the test. There's a lot of really specific stuff that they wanted us to know about cancer genes and things like that. And so I just knew, based on what little time I was able to put into it, it was going to be tough. And it was, but overall I did better than last time. It had double the amount of questions and I ended up getting an 88. So I'm pleased with that. And the last one was the Phys Pro section. There was an answer that was stop, drop, and roll on this test. And I was like, you're not fooling me. That's a trick question. And I got it wrong. So I got an 82 on that one. Or no, the 82 was ClinMed. I got a 92 on that one for that one question wrong. So overall, I think I actually did better on these 4 exams than the first 4. So exam count for med school right here, we got 8 down so far. So post-exam thoughts. First is that you're always going to be your greatest critic. At least in med school, everyone you talk to is hypercritical of themselves. And coming out of that exam, I felt not great. I was like, God, that could have gone so much better. I should have studied so much harder. But then I thought about it and it's like, I did better than the last one. So there's really nothing to scoff at there. I know the issues that I had, which I'll probably talk about in a different video because it's way too long to cover right now. But being my own worst critic, harshest critic, I'm going to use that to my advantage. So I know that I did better. I still can do better than I did, but I'm going to use that critical analysis of the way that I studied to improve my studying. So the first thing is, like, don't be so hard on yourself, because we're all struggling through it. We're doing okay. We're surviving and honestly, like, thriving at this point, doing really well. So I'm gonna finish this walk with the dogs and then just hang out. I've got a couple of miscellaneous things I've been putting off that weren't school related, so I'm gonna work on some of those. And then me and a couple of the boys are going golfing at noon. All right, it is now Wednesday. Had to check there. So the rest of Monday, we went golfing, did all right. I think I shot a 40 on 9 holes. And then we just kind of hung out, chilled for the day. I didn't do a single school-related task the rest of the day on Monday. It was fantastic. But then Tuesday came around and I was already playing catch-up. Like, med school comes at you fast. They always tell you the analogy, like, going to undergrad is like drinking out of a garden hose. Going to med school is like drinking out of a fire hose. And it could not be more precise. Like, med school isn't hard in the fact that the content is like so high level and very complex. Like, it's all really easy. And for the most part, we've already seen a lot of the content that we're looking at now. It's just the sheer amount of volume that you get So in undergrad, you might have 3 biochem lectures in 1 week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, an hour each. Last Thursday, we had 4 lectures in 1 day on biochem. So it's just the volume of the content is so much quicker. And with that being said, the next realization is how important time management is. So obviously I'm here to do well in school, and I want to do the best I can, get the best grades I can to become the best physician that I can. But I have other priorities outside of school. I have a family, other interests like fitness, golfing, hanging out with friends, being a social dude. So time management is key. And if I've learned anything about med school and procrastination as I'm filming a YouTube video instead of going through my lectures for the day, it's that you will fill up whatever time you allot to a task. So if for today, for instance, I have 3 lectures to get through beyond the stuff that I did this morning, and I really haven't put a time limit on it. I've basically told myself I have all day to get through these 3 lectures, and what do you know? I haven't done any of them yet, and it's 3:40 in the afternoon. So I have found that by putting a time constraint and pressure on myself, I can be way more productive and I don't put things off as long. So this morning, I had 4 lectures that I was trying to get through, just some stuff from the last unit that I wanted to kind of hammer in, as well as some other like miscellaneous tasks I needed to get done. And I had to go give a anatomy presentation to another lab group at 1 o'clock. So I told myself this morning that I needed to get through everything besides today's content before 1 o'clock before I go to school. And that 1 o'clock deadline came, and every task that I had set for myself, done. And it was a relatively small amount of time and a lot of stuff to do. So by putting that time constraint on myself, I put a little more pressure on myself and found I was way more productive. I was very focused on the tasks at hand. And now that I have a ton of time and not a ton to do, I'm really just dragging it out, not wanting to touch it, and like very low motivation. So time management is key, especially if you want to be able to devote time to your other priorities, but don't give yourself just unlimited amounts of time to do tasks. Like if getting through a lecture is going to take me 45 minutes, I will set a time limit, 45 minutes for that task, and then I will schedule a bunch of other things in there so that I have to meet that deadline. And that helps me get through the task for the day. So it's 3:42. I still have a track workout I want to get in. So if you want to see the track workout, link in the description to follow me on Strava. I'm going to say by 5 o'clock, I'm going to be done with my 3 lectures for the day. So that gives me an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to be pushing it, but I think I'm going to be able to do that. So I also wanted to give you guys a huge shout out. Thank you. Since my last video was posted, which was about a week ago now, I have gained like 10 new subscribers, which is awesome. The channel's starting to grow. More and more people are seeing my content. I'm getting noticed on campus, which is kind of interesting for me because there's people that have seen my videos and know a bunch about me now, and I don't even know their names. And they come up to me and like, "You're Hunter? Like, you have the YouTube channel?" I'm like, yeah, that's me. It's cool. Thanks for watching." So I just wanted to say thank you for the support. It really means a lot. It's fun doing these videos, but having a following and people to kind of share this experience with is so much more rewarding. So subscribe if you haven't, like the video. At the end of the video, I'm going to have a comment that I want you guys to leave. So stay till the end of the video and make sure to comment below. But I got to get back to work. We are ready now for our very first patient encounter. So I've set up my computer here. So I'm about to have an OSCE, which I will throw up right here what it actually stands for because I don't want to butcher it. So this is going to be a standardized patient. We've been practicing some motivational interviewing skills and just regular history and interview taking skills. So I believe, I feel like we're in the dark on a lot of the things we do. So I'm pretty sure that we are going into this meeting and they'll give us some instructions. Then we get the patient history. So they've already kind of charted this patient and we'll get to see kind of like what their history is and why they're here potentially. And then we get to meet our patient and we basically go through an interview with them. They have some sort of behavior that isn't healthy, and we're going to try to motivate them to change that and work on our motivational interviewing skills. And we have 15 minutes to kind of have a conversation with this patient, and then we stop, and they're a hired, standardized patient. They might be volunteer, I'm not sure, but they will stay with us then and give us some feedback on how we did. And then after that, we break out and have feedback with the faculty, and the whole experience is recorded. So then after the fact, we go and kind of do a critical analysis on ourselves, and then somebody else watches the video as well. So this will be my very first encounter with a patient, and I have to say I'm a little nervous, but it's a half-hour ordeal, and then I have to get right to ClinMed lab right after. So after ClinMed, I will kind of debrief on my first clinical experience. We are on the way home from clinical medicine lab. Today we just covered blood pressure, pulses around the body, a couple different capillary refill tests, that sort of thing. All peripheral vasculature. A lot of the skills I already knew, but it was fun to kind of practice them on our lab partners for the day. The OSCE. It wasn't really what I was expecting. So as I said, we were kind of doing our motivational interviewing skills and working on that. And I was kind of expecting to get a patient that has a problem, whatever it would be, smoking, drinking, whatever. And as we kind of have a discussion with them, this patient would kind of like slowly change their minds, and, you know, we would kind of have a breakthrough and start making some actionable steps toward improving whatever behavior that they had. But that was not the case at all. The patient ended up just not wanting to do anything, didn't think they had a problem, and I just like didn't know what to do. Like, I was just kind of asking questions in circles, and it went okay, but definitely could have gone better. It was a great like first experience, and then right after we were done, the patient gave us feedback. I was able to learn from it, and that was it. But going in, I wasn't particularly nervous. I don't typically get nervous like in a test taking situation. Like, this was technically an exam, or like speaking in front of people. Don't really have a problem with it, as evidenced here. But before this, I had just this like ball of stress just in my chest. I could just feel it. I was like controlling my breathing, checked my heart rate on my watch. I'm sitting at a 58, so I'm not like freaking out, but I could just like feel this stress inside my chest, and it was weird. And then I get done with this OSCE, and this is what my shirt looked like. And then I started thinking, like, before the OSCE, I was yawning a lot, and that it's really weird, but yawning is like my nervous tick. So if I'm in the gym before I get ready for a big lift, I will yawn a lot. Like, I don't know why, but when I'm nervous, I yawn. So comment below, what is your nervous tick? Like, when you're nervous, when you're freaking out, what do you do? I yawn. So there's that. OSCE went well, went okay, and then had ClinMed lab, also went really well. So I'm gonna go back and study some more. Tomorrow we just have a couple lectures, and then we're relaxing for the weekend. All right, along with time management, I wanted to discuss having things to do outside of school. Like, you can get so bogged down by schoolwork. Like I've said before, there's always something that you could be doing, so you always feel like you should be studying, but that's not healthy. And I have fitness, I have family and Marin and the dogs, but I've also got friends in med school. We go golfing about once a week. I get my walks in every day. So it's just really important to do things besides school. Take your mind off of it for a little while, because that's just a good way to get burnt out, by just doing school from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. So be your worst critic, but don't take it too personally. Manage your time well, and figure out something to do besides school are the three things that I've figured out in my first month of med school. So that's gonna be it for today. Make sure to comment below your nervous ticks, and then like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.